You know, we're going to have a talk. Do you know there's a lot of people out there that have games, they have ideas, they have things ready to go for the tabletop role playing game market, and you will most likely never see any of it. The question is, why will you likely never see any of it? Is it because of the people? Well, let's look at the entire situation. Do consumers really back up new, independent people with new game ideas that are innovators that aren't just third-party products? No, no. And you see a slight bit of support. We have a fringe of independent games, but it's a fringe. Even the more popular ones seem to get no real backing. Our consumer base stays in one area, served really well, I guess. Well, they complain a lot. They don't seem to want to really go towards innovation. So there's one problem with innovation in this hobby. And then you're told to put your dream on hold when there are options out there for you. So someone else's dream can stay intact, so they can be supported. And what do I mean? Well, if us innovators with new games don't get much support from the consumer base, we look at what's there to help us. Well, there's AI art. Oh wow, I'm an innovator with almost no money. Really, like I'm not successful in that way and I'm not a wealthy person. There's art that is affordable for me that looks nice and can be put into a product presented in some professional way to the consumer base. So I can give them something that looks nice. Isn't that great? No, that's not good, and you're bad if you do that because there's an artist out there, a starving artist, who you need to support. So your dream is second place to their dream. And let's be real. Let's be real. All this is a denial of what is coming. You know, like the art thing. AI art is here to stay. It's going to be used and used often. It's going to be used on the market everywhere. And most people are not going to know, and they're not going to keep pressuring people. This is something that's here for real. Here's what I would say as an innovator in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. Artist, I'm all for supporting you and maintaining that as a thing and not just, oh, we always go to AI art. But when an innovator like me comes up to the hobby who doesn't have the wealth to pay you for your art, and I turn to AI art, you can't be out there on a campaign to make what I'm doing seem bad for the sake of your own career. Well, because if not, what does that mean? My dream gets to go nowhere? If I never have the money to pay you, that means what? I bring my game out and text, oh yeah, do that. We know how the market works. You're making an unreasonable demand given the options out there, and the consumer base is making an unreasonable demand. Here's what I would say to the consumer base. Don't judge if it's AI art, judge the product if it's a good game, if you like the idea of what the person is putting out there. And then demand of anyone like me who's coming into it, looking at what helps them, given we get little to no help from you and from other sectors of the hobby. So we get this little bit of help here. You need to make demands like, okay, if we support you, you need to get real art. Well, I'm all up for that. I want to be able to pay artists and have a style and find somebody who's really suited to certain editions that I have and do all that, and I would like to invest in people and pay them. I simply don't have the money, right? For me to get there, all the other roads are pretty dry up. I could wait forever like everyone else and never put out a game. And see, I don't like living by the rules they tell me I have to live by. So you tell me, oh, I gotta put out a game. Do you know how many guys are just scared to put out their games that are even more done, say, than mine as far as the appearance of the game, and they still don't put it out? Do you know how many ideas that it doesn't hit because they're scared? And you know what gets them more scared? When they see a guy like me who has the nerve to step up with my approach to an unfinished product or something, and they know they can't afford the art, and they're looking at me, what I'm doing. I put my thing out, and I'm blasted for it by a certain section of people. It's a shame what they did. Certain people didn't like me before I brought out my product, and Yeah, you know how it goes. But I have a good pitch, and it's one that works for people that are innovators. The market simply doesn't work for us, so I won't play by the fucking market's rules. And now the market allows me to play the game I'm playing. Now I've tried to tell people how I'm coming at this. Look, I don't go to Kickstarter. There's not much of a difference between me and a Kickstarting project. The difference is you're someone who has an unfinished raw product that you would not buy. Like if you've seen the way it was at the time they're starting the Kickstarter, you're not going to purchase that, right? They prep so much, they don't got everything finished, and you're going to invest so they can bring people in, do things, finish the product, and send it out to you. Here's what I did. I completed a game after 15 years of game testing. And I said, well, I can put that out. The game, the text, like the game itself, that's completed. That's mint. So I said, here, I'm going to bypass Kickstarter. I don't want to have to do Kickstarter, but I'm going to do something similar. Where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to come out at the raw stage, right? Just like the Kickstarter guy. But I'm going to let you see the raw stage. The only thing I promise is within the raw product right now, that's not juiced up, is clean text in a mint game-tested game that you get when you purchase it, and you don't pay for the quality because there is not. It's a raw version of the product. And what I'm telling people is if you invest in me like you would a Kickstarter, instead of waiting, you get something right away. I had the nerve. I had the courage to come out when a lot of other people wouldn't. Because they're at the stage where I'm at and they don't know where to go. They really don't. They need money, they need investment, they need this. But they have nothing. They have nothing. Most people, even if you have game testers, a lot of them don't want to be public. I have game testers for years in this game. None of them want to do anything public, right? Just the way it is. It's hard to find people that want to do public things, and it's hard to find people you can even trust to do that with to begin with. That's a real challenge. It's nice to see a few people out there that can achieve these things really early on and get that as part of the package and selling it to you, but most can't, and most are scared at the fact that they can't do it. So this is why all these things, all these negative layers, is why there'll be games that are completed, that are great, that you would love and want to have on the market, that you'll never see because of the fear of all the negatives, all the layers between someone who's going to innovate in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. And that's why you're overwhelmed with third-party products. The OSR is an extension of D&D. These are third-party products. You go over to 5e, it's 5e and it's third-party products. Even Pathfinder sort of acts like a, that D&D situation where it's all third-party products. Even the old Fringe games that at least used to be produced, there's not many coming in now. And all these new games coming out, most of them are somewhat clones of D&D. Or they're not even true full role-playing games, or they're side games. And they're not even Fringe because they don't stay around. Like they're like, we have all kinds of games that are coming in each year now. They come in, they get an award. Nobody talks about them next year. This year, all kinds. And it's all an attempt to get things selling, because things are not selling because of how our consumer base is. Even the big market gets confused by you guys. It's like they can hold you with the D&D stuff, but it's like if we try something alternative, it's, for whatever reason, that all falls apart right away. Like that whole gimmick with our consumer base that works here doesn't seem to work anywhere else. Just the way it is. I don't come begging, but I come out on the market because I have the courage, and I want to show other guys that I know have games and material ready to go. Like, look guys, I have the courage to come out here. And they see me being attacked. I feel bad that they see that, but I tell them, like, look, I'm unique. I'm being attacked for all kinds of various reasons. Don't look at that as a reason not to come out. But they're so afraid. I talk to so many guys that have stuff. And there's so many bullshit reasons between them and their thing to get out there. And the market should not be that hard. You, the consumer, want the games. And I know you do. You want the material. You would want all of this, right? I'm out here making an argument for innovators because I see it not happening. And of course, I'm an innovator. Oh, you're arguing for something that benefits you. Yes. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. It doesn't mean I'm not in the right. Oh, it benefits me if people care about innovators and want to invest. Of course it does. But it would benefit a lot of other guys. Early starters should not be scared of using AI art. We have to stop doing that. We have to say that AI art and any other program similar to that can help out an early on person, developer who doesn't have the money to pay an artist, this has to be forgiven. You can't crucify, if not 90% of new ideas that you'd want to see can't make it to the market because they can't afford an artist. Stop putting an artist ahead of this person's dream over here. Let them have it. And if you know the only way they can really get this out to you in a way that communicates it right is to use some form of art, either the public free art or the AI art, just say it's okay. Be a little bit more demanding though once they get somewhere. Hey, once we invest in you, are you going to go to a real artist and pay them? Every new person that's coming in should say yes. That should be the goal for every innovating game designer creative. We want the creativity from an artist. We want them to be able to work with us, but we need the money to pay them. And they need to, it'd almost be better for artists, ironically, to let innovators get somewhere. Like, look, you're having a hard time working for WotC and all these other people, right? Well, artists, how do you make a bigger market so there's more jobs? You help innovators get in so there's more games, more shit to work on, more future projects, more of the right people like creators like me who are constantly creating projects for you to work on. And by us making the money, we can then put that money towards you. That's how the cycle works. But if you close it off from the innovators and you close it down to all these markets, it's a lot harder for you to get work, especially at a time where now you closed it all off and the big companies have AI. Right? You're screwed yourself because someone like me might want to use AI to get going, which I am. It shouldn't be crucified for. But I would be honest, in the market and invest in you at one point in a way that the bigger companies, many smaller companies, once the standard's okay, they'll all run away from you. You should be afraid of that WotC runs away from you, which they are to a degree. People like me run towards you. My use of AI isn't to insult you or take away your dream or set a standard that's going to hurt you. There has to be a middle ground because you have to accept that the AI art thing is here. So what I would say, instead of fighting it, the way you survive in this world as an artist is to go, instead of being against it, we're going to manage it. Human artists are worthy. Make sure that standard is accepted by everybody. I think we all would say yes. So then you say, okay, we have AI art here. How can we use it in a way that doesn't destroy the human artist market and manage it, not in a punishing way, not in a I hate AI art way. It can't be that. You got to take the petty minds out of the conversation and bring the reasonable people in. And the petty people just have to get over it. They just have to get over it because it is here. And innovators like me who have no support from the consumer base automatically, I get no support in all these other realms. If AI art is effectively going to help me communicate what my game is, set a tone, and sell the game, make me money so I can then invest it in later in an artist, that's a good thing. I get crucified here for doing this. That's wrong. That's wrong. Our view on AI art shouldn't be like, we hate people that use it. It's like, no, we hate the idea that it kills human art, in a way that, artists can survive in the world and make money. We don't want that destroyed. So it's like, campaign on managing it, not hating it, and then not hating people. When you look at their situation, that are going to use it when it's appropriate to use it. And someone who can't afford you has the right to turn to that anytime they want. And nobody should hold it against them. All right, my dream should not have to be second place to your dream. And I shouldn't have to go down a minimal road into the path when there's options there for me. Artists themselves are using the AI to help them. Everyone uses what's on option. AI art is a tool for me. I'm going to use it because it's affordable. There. Anyway, we should all come up with ways where innovators can come into the hobby without it being a nuisance. All right, consumer, you don't want to support me in any big way because I need to impress you, right? Okay. Well then, why make it really hard for me to impress you when in reality, what is it that you want from me? Are you concerned with the pretty cover in reality? Or the pretty page? Or are you just concerned with the text and the game that the text is giving you? That is what you're paying for. At the end of the day, that's what you want, and that's what you're paying for. A tested game that works, and the text there so you can read it, understand it, play it, and run it. That's what you're going for, right? You should not want to make so many fucking layers between you and that impossible. How we had innovation back in the day. Think about original D&D and how it came out in these like plain books and shit like this. Imagine if the market would have never supported that. D&D would get nowhere. D&D itself, the entire hobby is based on putting off some cheap shit products out to you and you going, oh fuck it, we'll give it a chance. And we have an entire hobby built off giving it a chance. And the only other time after that when we hit an innovation in the late 80s, we get all the games that are all the additions in now. I mean, pretty much the real games that are not clones, other independent games. All happen at one short period of time because, again, there's lack of options. And then the consumers go back to being overly served and not giving anything to innovators. We have to say to ourselves, the real history tells us, innovation is how we got everything we have. And every time you give a pinch of it out that you support any innovation, it always grows the hobby in the most epic, biggest ways. Created the hobby and then created every fucking almost engine that you're using now. All the clones are built off the innovation time. Innovation is the most powerful thing, and I gotta tell you, we're only 20% up the fucking ladder. We have all kinds of ideas out there, and I personally have seen them with other people that will not put them out. They'll talk about it 10 years later, still not put them out. Man, I got paranoid about all this stuff, right? Game tested, it wasn't really ready for PDF creation. Learned just enough, just a minimal amount enough about PDF creation to get that up. Because it's just, I'm a hustling person that works. I just haven't had time to focus on that. But I got it done. Very minimal fucking looking thing, got it up, bang, out to you. And I'm like, okay, wanna know what? I know I'll improve at this. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait 5 years, 10 years. I'm not gonna wait to pay an artist. There's AI art. I'm gonna get it. Looks pretty cool. Communicates what I want. I like it. Pretty shit. Why can't we just admit that? All right. And if it works, it works. Like, it's if you're someone going to play the game, you pick it up, and I'm like, if you don't know it's an AI artist, you won't give a fuck. You would just look at it and say it's cool. It's like, just get the shit out of your head. It can be cool with AI art. We just have to be honest about that, right? It just can be. It doesn't mean that the enjoyment or being okay with AI art on any level means that we throw human artists out the door. That's not what I mean. I support human artists, and I think that maybe that should be a line put on any innovator asking you for money. It should always be assumed that at one point the money isn't just invested in the product, but it's going to be invested in people that are tied to the hobby. So we not just support artists, but support artists that want to stay in our market. I think that's an important thing too, but you got to build up a market with more jobs than just WotC and a few others. By investing in people like me and you creating a new part of the market, again, it creates more jobs. This is called economics. It's, if we understand it, a bit of it, or use our common sense, the hobby gets better. All right, anyway, there. I love you. At least most of you. For now. Take care.